Hi friends, it's Michal, or Miki for those of you that cannot pronounce my name, and I am here with your singing tip of the week. So today I want to talk about rhythm, and I've gotten this question a few times on my various social media, and I think I probably would get it more often if people didn't feel like it was such a basic question that they were embarrassed to ask. But first of all, I just want to remind everyone that there are no stupid questions in music. There are only people with terrible taste. So I think what people are really asking when they ask about rhythm is they want to know about finding the beat in music or feeling the tempo or the pace or the meter. So let's take a moment to define some of those terms. All of these have to do with the way that we measure time in music. And tempo is how fast or how slow you sing a song. Generally speaking, when you're performing a pop song, you are going to maintain a steady tempo. So you're not going to be speeding up or slowing down. It is true that when you become more advanced, you might want to play around with time and speed up and get slower within a song in order to create a greater emotional effect. But in the beginning, when you're first figuring out how to feel the beat or feel the tempo, you want to maintain a steady tempo. Tempo is measured in beats per minute. And I have here an ancient device, which if you turn it on is actually going to play the tempo for you. Or if it had batteries, it would play the tempo for you. It doesn't matter because nowadays everybody has metronomes that they can download on their phone or apps or whatever. And if you have a tempo that's 60 beats per minute, a beat is going to coincide with a second. So it's going to be 1 beat per second. If it's 120 BPM or beats per minute, it's going to be twice as fast as that. So it'd be. If it's 30 BPM, it's going to be half as fast. So then it would be 1, 2. And if you look at a piece of sheet music, it's going to indicate the BPM or the tempo at the beginning. And any pop song that you can think of, if you search online, you can find the sheet music for it. This is all information that is readily and freely available. So let's take a moment to look at a piece of sheet music. I've just pulled this out of my ass, no, out of my piano bench, and it is a random sheet from Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. So I've just written the time signature over here, and you can see that we have our vertical measure lines that are dividing time as we go along. You've got all these different notes, and the various notes have different rhythmic values. So let's go through a couple of the major types of notes that you're going to see in pop music. The major types of notes include whole notes that look like little empty circles, half notes that look like empty circles with a stem, quarter notes that look like filled in circles with a stem, and eighth notes which look like these guys with little curly tail when they're by themselves, but you'll rarely see them by themselves. You'll often see them with a friend, and they look like that. Okay, so whole notes are going to get 4 beats. So that means that you hold them out for 4 beats. So you would play 1, 2, 3 whole notes, 4 whole notes. Half notes get 2 beats. So you would play them every 2 beats. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Quarter notes get 1 beat. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Eighth notes get half a beat. So you would get 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And then you have dotted notes. A dot is going to add half of the value of the note to the value of the note. So if a whole note is held out for 4 beats, half of 4 is 2. So you're going to add 2 to 4 and get 6 beats for a dotted whole note. Similarly, a half note is worth 2 beats. A dotted half note is going to be worth 3 beats. A dotted quarter note is going to be worth 1.5 beats. and a dotted eighth note is going to be worth 3/4 of a beat. Okay? And you have corresponding rests, which mean that you don't play for the value of the note. And that's basically all you need to know in terms of rhythm, because you're not going to get much more than that in a pop song. You can continue subdividing and you get 16th notes and 32nd notes and 64th notes and all of that kind of good stuff, but I don't want you to worry about that right now. And then you also have your time signature that looks like a fraction, and that's going to be written at the beginning of a piece of music as well. So your time signature is going to give you a numerator and a denominator, and the main time signatures that you're going to see in pop music are 2/4, 4/4, 3/4, and 6/8. You're not going to get much more complicated than that. In other genres of music like jazz, you might have more strange time signatures, but I just want you to focus on these for now. So the numerator in the time signature is going to tell you how many beats per measure. So remember, we have these measure lines that occur at even intervals throughout the music. So when you have the time signature 2/4, you're going to get two beats per measure, and the denominator tells you what kind of note is going to count for a beat. So this tells you that a quarter note is going to get a beat, and you're going to have 2 quarter notes per measure. Okay? This one, 4/4, tells you that you have 4 beats per measure and a quarter note gets a beat. So you're going to have 4 quarter notes per measure. 3/4 tells you have 3 beats per measure and a quarter note gets a beat. So you have 3 quarter notes per measure. And this one, 6/8, tells you have 6 beats per measure and an eighth note is going to get a beat. So you have 6 eighth notes per measure. Okay? So that's the basis of rhythm. Now I'm going to tell you how to use all this information and integrate it into feeling the tempo of a song and staying on the beat. And this looks very complicated to somebody that doesn't have any music training or knowledge, but I'm going to show you a very, very simple way to conceptualize it so that you really don't have to keep all of this in mind. You can just naturally feel the beat. So music is something that developed as a byproduct of our evolution. And if you look at a human body, if you, for example, bisect a human body, it's going to be symmetrical. It's going to be the same on both sides, right? Or a mirror image. So you have 2 eyes, you have 2 nostrils, 2 lungs, 2 arms, 2 legs. And so it makes sense that when we developed music, we developed it in groups of 2s. And what I mean by that is when you listen to a song, you can move your body to the beat naturally, okay? And music and dance develop together. So when we dance, we don't dance to silence, we dance to music. My number 1 tip for you as you are trying to learn how to feel the beat or the tempo of a song is to try to walk to the beat of the music. So go for a walk, listen to whatever song you're trying to learn in your headphones, and try to naturally walk at the same pace as the music. Okay? And then as you get the hang of it, you can try to sing as you are walking. And if you don't feel comfortable singing outside as you're walking because you're afraid your neighbors are gonna listen to you, you can just walk in place inside your house and sing along as you walk. So let's take Bohemian Rhapsody, for example. Bohemian Rhapsody has a time signature 4/4. So I'm just gonna start walking and counting 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this my real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Open my eyes, look up to the skies and see. So you can see that I don't even have to really count in my head. I just start walking, and once I've established a pace, I don't have to think about it because we've been walking our entire lives. It comes very second nature. You just put one foot in front of the other, and then the music will just kind of fall into place. And you'll be able to tell if your singing is not on rhythm. It's actually harder to sing out of rhythm with your pace of walking. So if you're listening to a song and it sounds like it's really a lot faster than you're walking, you might find yourself naturally speeding up your pace to match the beat of the music. An easy example of a song in 2/4 is Mary Had a Little Lamb. So if you start walking, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, then you just let your body take over. You don't even think about it anymore. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. Very easy, right? So what about a song in 6/8? Let's look at Alicia Keys' Fallen. So with this, it's a little bit more complicated because it's basically at this tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if I were to try to walk at that pace, I would really be high stepping it. I would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you don't want to be running and out of breath while you're trying to get the beat of the song. But math is an amazing thing. And just like you can subdivide a fraction and make 6/8 into 3/4, you can really divide 6/8 into 2. So the way that you do that is you take it into triplets. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I keep on falling in love with you. Sometimes I love you, sometimes I feel used, sometimes I feel good, at times I feel blue. Loving you, darling, makes me so confused. I keep on falling in and out of love with you. I never loved someone with that I loved you. I never felt this way, and so on and so forth. So what about when you have a song in 3/4? You're probably asking yourself, we don't have 3 legs, so how am I going to walk to a 3/4 tempo? And the thing is, again, you can conceptualize it into groups of 2. So if you take 2 groups of 3, you're going to end up on the same foot again, just like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm back to the beginning of the pattern. You're taking it over 6 beats, and it becomes 3 beats and 3 beats, or 2 groups of 3 beats. So again, it's broken into groups of 2, if that makes sense, okay? So if you have something like the Star Spangled Banner, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming. So this entire method comes down to just walking. And that's something that comes very naturally to most of us humans because we've been doing it all of our lives, except for when we were very, very little babies. So it's very second nature. So what I want you to do is when you're trying to feel the beat of a song, just go for a walk and listen to it in your headphones. And if you can walk to the pace of the song as you're listening to it, eventually you'll be able to sing as you walk. And then you can bring it inside and you can walk in place and you can keep making the movement smaller and smaller to the point where you can just kind of be swaying back and forth as you sing. Or you can snap your fingers to the beat. And that way, when you go to karaoke or you perform at your talent show, people don't have to realize that you are walking in order to feel the beat. because it becomes something that's internalized that you can do inside of yourself and not really have to do it with your entire body. Now, the second very easy method that you can use in order to stay with the rhythm of a song is to conduct. So the same way that a conductor stands at the front of an orchestra and he takes a baton and he waves it through the air to keep all the instrumentalists playing together at the same tempo, you can conduct yourself. So you can get a baton or a pencil or use your finger, whatever you want, and you're just going to swing it along to the beat. So if you're in 2/4, you're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. And if you are in 3/4, you're going to create a triangle. You're going to go down, side, up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? And if you are in 4/4, you're going to create a square. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this my real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Open your eyes, and so on and so forth. If you are in 6/8, you can again subdivide that into 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I keep on falling in love with you. Sometimes I love you, sometimes I feel blue. Loving you, darling, makes me so confused. I keep on falling in and out of love with you. Whoa, I never felt this way. Why do you give me so much pleasure and cause me so much pain? So on and so forth. So those are 2 really basic methods for how to feel the tempo or the beat of a song. When you start to get into the weeds of the rhythm of a song, it gets a little bit more complicated. But if you really conceptualize it in that way of trying to listen to the song as you match the pace of your walking to the beat, you'll find that it gets a lot easier. And then when you add in the lyrics, even if they're all over the place and there are complicated rhythms and they don't really neatly fall into where the beat is, you'll start to hear on what words the beat is falling. And those are going to be like anchors for you as you slot the lyrics into this grid of the pace of the song. So for example, if you look at the chorus of Maroon 5's Girls Like You, this song is in 4/4, so I would count it like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 'Cause girls like you run around with guys like me till sundown. When I come through, I need a girl like you, yeah, yeah. So what I've done is I've written out the lyrics and I've written a line wherever the beat falls. So most of the time it falls on a word. So you'll really hear that accented. 'Cause girls like you, but then here it comes right after the word run and right before the word around. So you have to try to really walk along with the song so that you can start to hear where those accents fall. So it becomes 'cause girls like you run around with guys like me till sundown. When I come through, I need a girl like you, yeah, yeah. And it just takes practice and experience to start to really feel how the lyrics scan along with the beat. But walking along with it is going to give you everything that you need to know to start really feeling it and internalizing that beat. As a general rule, I would try to really lock into the beat and not go before the beat or after the beat. If you're gonna err on the side of being early or late, I would go for being late, because actually kind of becoming behind the beat and being a little bit lazy can make you feel more locked into the beat and kind of in the pocket. But it's not something that I would shoot for as a beginner. That's something that you can play around with as you become a little bit more advanced. In the beginning, I would just try to stay exactly on the beat and not worry about things like playing in the pocket or back phrasing or things like that. So I realize that this started out as a very basic question and it became a kind of complicated answer, but there's a lot to say on this topic. I tried to keep it as accessible and basic, easy entry as possible. If you have any specific questions or you're having problems as you try to implement walking along to the beat or anything else to do with rhythm, you can obviously DM me or drop your question in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, tell all your friends, hit me up on my social media, blah, 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 blah. I will see you here next week for another singing tip. Until then, happy singing.